You look like a great group. It's small groups, so this is going to be cool when it's small. Usually we do, sometimes there's 200 kids, sometimes there's 300 kids. Last time in the gym, we did about 150 kids, you remember? So anyway, does everyone here know what this is about? Do you mind if I sit close like this? Does everyone know? You guys know, I know. This is, the name of this presentation is HIV and Pride, okay? It is an HIV presentation, but I think it's somewhat more as well. It has to do with the name, think of the name, HIV and Pride, okay? What does the Pride have to do with it? Now, many of you here have had other presentations about STDs, STIs, about safe sex, using condoms, right? What's the only way not to get an STD or HIV, which is an STD? Abstinence, right, abstinence. And you guys know about when to use a condom, and you've been taught that? But then let me ask you a question. Why has your age group, the infection rate of your age group doubled? You can ask questions afterwards, okay?
I was going to ask questions. I was going to tell you why.
Oh, okay, let me finish, okay? That's okay. No, you could, yeah. Anyway, why is your age group, the infection rate, doubled from 2006 to 2007? Because, okay, I think, what was that? No one wants to talk about it. That's a good reason. But one of the main things is that depending on how you feel, even if you know the information, okay, you know what you're supposed to do, right? But what happens? What if you're feeling bad? What if you, I'll talk, okay? What if you're feeling bad? There'll be plenty of time afterwards to ask questions, okay? What if you're feeling bad? What if something happens at home and you're feeling sad and you go to school and your friend comes up to you and says, "Hey, you want to have a drink, man? I have some beer in my knapsack." You go, "Okay." And you drink the beer and you think that beer is going to make you feel better, right? And then you get a little dizzy. And then your friend says, "Hey, you want to go have sex? There's these two chicks, man. They're easy. They'll give it right away." "But I don't want to have sex until I get married. I'm not ready for that." "Come on, man. What are you not cool? What are you, a queer?" And maybe the guy will do it, right? Because he wants to fit in. He wants to feel better. So what I'm going to be talking about are the moments and the feelings that lead up to the reasons why you guys make the wrong choices. And it's not just your age group. It's all age groups. It's adults, too.
I feel like that's the main reason why it's double down.
Can we finish the presentation and we can talk about it afterwards? Okay.
I feel like it's funny. I don't think it goes like that. Because I'm in this age group and I know. I don't think it happens like that. I think
Okay.
It's peer pressure, but it's other reasons too.
Of course. And we're going to talk about all those reasons. But anyway, so is everything okay? Okay. All right, so basically, what are the reasons? So what I'm going to talk about is what happened to me. Let me tell you something. I have been living with HIV for 25 years, okay? I was diagnosed 25 years ago, and I've been living with AIDS as well. I've had AIDS, HIV for 25 years. And also, I have been openly gay since 1972. But this is not a gay presentation, okay? It's basically, anybody could get HIV, okay? It's no longer a gay disease. So what I want to talk about is what happens that makes you guys feel that you're going to practice unsafe sex. So what I'm going to do is tell you my story. What happened to me? How did I get sick? What did I do? What did I do wrong? And hopefully you guys will identify with it. Now anyway, I was born in Brooklyn in 1954. Okay, so I'm 54 years old. I don't look 54, do I? No, thank you. That's good to hear. And I grew up in the 60s is when I started to come of age. And Brooklyn in the 60s was much different than it is now. Do you know that Flatbush, which is not too far from here, right by Prospect Park, was all white? I did not see a black person until I went to high school. I went to a Catholic grammar school, Holy Innocents on 17th Street. And when I went, my entire class was white. And did anyone see the movie Doubt recently? No? Well, basically, my grammar school was pretty much like that. The nuns were, I had all nuns. And anyway, I went to, so my neighborhood was very quiet. And when I was about 7 years old, I discovered there was something different about me. In my neighborhood, everybody played baseball, okay? There was a ball field. Does anyone know the parade grounds? Do you know the parade grounds? We're right by Prospect Park. Well, everybody played baseball, and I tried to play. They would throw a ball at me, and it would feel like I was being hit. So I duck. And they called me a sissy. They called me names. So I started feeling that I was different. I wasn't the same as everyone else. Does anyone understand what that feels like? When for whatever reason, you know, it could be the color of your skin, it could be the color of your hair, it could be something that makes you different. So I started feeling different. So I started feeling sad, and I didn't understand it. Now, I was a very good student. I did very well in school. I was the number 1 and number 2 in school, most of the, number 1 or number 2, most of my 8 years of grade school. And then, you know what happens at puberty? Do you remember puberty? Do you remember puberty? You do? You know you get a little crazy, right? You get like a little loopy in the head. And the girls, you kind of look at the guys in a different way. They don't look quite as stupid anymore, do they? And the guys, the girls are not quite as mean, right? Well, it happened to me, but it was slightly different, because remember I said I was gay. And I was down in the basement with my friend Kenny and my friend Jose. And Kenny dared Jose to pull down his zipper. And I put my mouth on his penis. And you know what happened next? Kenny went and told everyone in the neighborhood that I was a queer. This was 1967. I should have killed him?
No, you should have moved.
I should have what?
You should have moved.
I should have moved? Yeah, I should have moved. But it wasn't up to me. I was only a kid. It was my parents. But anyway, Kenny told the entire neighborhood. So I would walk down the street, and people would hit me. They'd beat me up. And also, people were, my brother and I were relatively close. He was so upset with me, he didn't want to speak to me. And then I went to high school, and I thought things would get better in high school. And in high school, I went to Erasmus Hall High School. Does anyone know where that is? You know, on Church and Flatbush, you know where that big white church is on Church and Flatbush? Right across the street is Erasmus Hall High School. And at the time, I went, and the first day I remember being in school, and this was right after the Civil Rights Amendment was passed. So they bussed in kids from different neighborhoods, and I remember I was going to school in the afternoon. There were 1,500 freshmen, so they divided the class. So I went in the afternoon. And I remember the first day, all the black kids were over there, all the Asian kids were over there, and all the white kids were here. And for the first time I stood there, and I honestly did not know where I belonged.